All right, good afternoon, good afternoon. We are live and coming from the IDC Roundtable. This is a epic interview slash roundtable that we're doing today because we have so many presenters that are here to share their experiences and give feedback on their communities. First, before we get started, I'll introduce myself. I am Chief McCauley. I am the host for today. And I just want to say before we get started, this is very important and near and dear to me because being a little HA Macaulay out in Iraq, my first tour, my first duty station, just coming into the Navy, I was very nervous. I was very scared. I was fresh out of field med, went to 29 Palms to CACs, and that was the only medical skills that I had. And while I was out there, a lot of things happened, but the one person that was there, and I love this man to the end of the world. I would die for this guy. Is Senior Chief Eaton, and he was my IDC, and we were deployed together in Ramadi, Iraq. And I can tell you that if it weren't for him, I might not have had the courage that I had to sustain and keep going. So for all my junior corpsmen that are out there, what we call baby docs, the IDCs, they are here for us, or they are here for you. They're here to train you, to motivate you, to teach you. We have doctors, we have PAs, we have nurses, but the IDCs are the ones that are out there on the ground with you when, and excuse my lack of terminology, but when shit hits the fan, they're the ones that are there. So this is for me in dedication to Senior Chief Eaton. Thank you for everything that you did for me, and I love you so much. So with that being said, I'm going to open up our awesome IDC roundtable today with so many IDCs. Before we start, I'm just going to give a short list of names that we have today. I have HM1 Williams, HMC Bright, HMC Maddox, Master Chief McDevitt, HM1 Grote, HM1 Osorio, HM1 Franchang, HM1 Raquel, HM1 O'Neill, HM1 Anderson, Senior Chief King, HM2 Swenson, and Senior Chief Gomez. Thank you all for being a part of this IDC roundtable today. It is greatly appreciated. I know so many sailors will see this video and will look at it and will eventually join your communities to be your replacements. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started with our roundtable. We're going to work under the sea, and we're going to move our way up. So with that being said, I would like to start off with Senior Chief Gomez, our dive IDC. Senior Chief Gomez, my question to you is, why did you decide to become an IDC? And then to add on to that, why did you decide to become a dive IDC?
Hey, afternoon, everybody from Surface Warfare Medical Institute. I appreciate the invite, Max. So, well, I'll tell you, even just dive for me was an accident. This is usually part of my in-brief when folks get here. I wanted to go first MARDIV after Naval Hospital Lemoore. And so back in the day, you used to have a big binder of different NECs. We didn't have the online Cantrack. So I remember H1 Hayes flips open this big binder, you know. What do you want to do after First Marine Division? You gotta have life after that. So do you want to do a school? I said, yeah, I don't know. He said, well, if you can't get First Marine Div, my second choice was somewhere in Hawaii. And he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I like to dive. I dove before I joined the Navy, so it'd be kind of fun. He said, you ever heard of a D&T? I said, no. So he sent me over to the AST seats across the street, and I was in the old, remember the milkman uniform, the service whites we had, and it's the middle of the summer, Central Valley, so you're looking, 110, 115 degrees outside, and then ASTC has a pool. And I went in there and I talked to Petty Officer Hall at the time and said, hey, I want to be a DMT. I don't know what it's all about. Well, he took me to the pool and proceeded to beat me, 8 counts, push-ups, all that for about 2.5, 3 hours. I was sweating, it's terrible. I went back to my workspace, HN Gomez, and they said, how was it? I said, I don't know anything about dive. I don't want to go back there. And I remember Petty Officer Viseri and who Master Chief Woods now, at the time she was an HM2 or an HM1. I said, well, what did Petty Officer Hall tell you to do? He said, I got to come back every other day this week. And they said, well, I guess that's your place of business from now on. So 6 months later, I got orders to dive school. So it was kind of all an accident for me. So my first duty station was EOD ESU2 out in Virginia. And when orders came up, I wanted to go do another tour as a DMT and kind of go, goof off, do the fun stuff. And my detailer was Master Chief Cronin at the time. And he said, look, well, you can go to Surface Warfare Medical Institute for IDC school. You can go to IDC school, or you can go back out to the fleet as a Quad Zero. So really, you got a few choices you can make leaving EOD ESU2. And so my choice was easy. I guess I'm going to IDC school. And the rest is history. And that's how I got here.
Awesome. Good story. So, and I know we're going to hear so many stories today. Everybody's going to have different routes of how they got to where they are, and you kind of stumbled upon yours. So, okay. So then let me ask you this question. As a dive IDC, what would you say were some of your best experiences?
Man, right out of school, I went to PSNS IMF Everett, and we did, or I got to stand up the first medical department there, and right out of school. And I would say that for me, leaving the schoolhouse and being able to go do that as a first tour was awesome. I'm still not a huge fan of the Northwest. You guys can keep it if you're from there on this call. I'm solar powered, so I need the sun. I'm a California boy. I got to have it. And but it was really cool. Just the people and the unit I was at was awesome. And being able to take care of everybody. I got a bit of mother goose complex. So it's getting everybody together and taking care of everybody, make sure everybody's well is something that I've always really enjoyed. My favorite tour of all time is Mobile Diving and Salvage Unit 2 up in Virginia Beach. And if I could go back and do my whole career over and spend it all in one place, I would go back there and do that again. It was just the camaraderie, the ability to take care of people and really have leeway with how you do medicine and leadership and all that was just fantastic. So yeah, if I could go back, my favorite tour was Mobile Diving and Salvage Unit 2.
Awesome. Good stuff. Okay. And so I guess, and so that will lead me to my next question is, what would you say, let me ask this, how has Dive IDC helped you develop and has molded you into this great leader that you are? How did that help?
Great leader. Well, I appreciate its kind words. I'd say that, especially on like our side with our community, we do how our community is made up of less than 100 people. So we have a lot of, you have a lot of small leadership tactic or small team, team building, morale, camaraderie type events throughout every tour that you have. I would say that it's just given me the opportunity to see very clearly the black and white of everything, the instructions, the process, the policy, what needs to be done, how to get, beg, borrow, procure, and then steal to make the job or the mission successful. And then you get to work really well into the gray and make sure that everybody's safe, make sure that everybody is successful in what they're trying to do. So for the dive piece, I'd say it's allowed me to look deep into the black and white and then work well into the gray.
Awesome. Good stuff. Okay. I have one last question for you. All right. I'm a junior sailor. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm an HN. I'm HM3 Macaulay.
All right.
I'm thinking about becoming an IDC, specifically maybe a dive IDC. What can you tell me to make me want to join your community? I'm already thinking about it.
Well, that's simple. That's pretty simple. The question comes down to, do you want to be deep sea? And do you want to go stay in nice hotels? Do you want to dive? Do you want to do some pretty cool mission sets? Do you want to go do some really good training, ship's husbandry? You get the full gamut of the administrative piece, the leadership aspect. You get to wear some awesome shorts. Deep sea is nothing without the short shorts. So by all means, if that's your bag, because it's mine, then you can go do that. Ultimately, for me, again, I can't speak well enough about the camaraderie we have in our community, and I wouldn't give that up for the world. So if you like open, honest transparency and camaraderie, you get all that in one bag with Deep Sea. There's nothing better. There is no better NEC to have out there.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm sold. I'm putting in my package. I'm just kidding. I can't swim.
Sorry,
I can't swim. All right. Thank you so much, Senior Gomez. What we will do is we will push forward, and then for the sailors that are on board, if y'all have a question for Senior Gomez in regards to dive, we'll come back around at the end. At least this way, it gives you time to get your questions together, and then you can ask Senior Gomez. Unless you have to go right now. If you have to go right now, let me know, Senior Gomez.
No, go for it. Go for it.
All right, good to go. All right. So that covers our dive, IDC. All right, we're still underwater. So we're gonna move next to Master Chief McDevitt at Sub IDC. Are you there, Master Chief?
Yes, hi.
Awesome. Welcome in. So Master Chief, it is so great to see you again because we had a great training last night as well. My first question to you, Master Chief, is why? Why did you become an IDC, and why a Sub IDC?
So I went to IDC school very junior. So I was stationed at Assault Craft Unit 2 in Little Creek, Virginia, and it was just me and my IDC. And Chief Jensen at the time, now he's supply officer, but he let me just do me. He trained me well as his baby duck. He taught me how to, do, the old-fashioned soap notes. I was able to be as independent as possible as a very junior sailor. And then when I was talking to a buddy of mine, he told me that he was putting in for IDC school. I didn't think we were eligible because we were so junior, and he was like, "Oh no, man, you can, do all these things." And he gave me all, the backdoor tricks after talking to the C school detail at the time. So I went ahead and applied, and so here I am. So I graduated swimming. I was service IDC first, and went to Theodore Roosevelt from there. I was selected for chief on board the TR, finished my tour there, went to Public Health Center. While I was at Navy Marine Corps Public Health Center, I went on an IA to Manda Bay, Kenya. While I was there, I relieved Master Chief John Rollinger. And when we were doing our turnover, we would joke that there's nothing more secluded. So I flew across the country, across the globe, really. And then I had to take a plane to a boat to a Land Rover to get to our camp in Manda Bay, Kenya. And we would joke that there's nothing more secluded that we can go to aside from a submarine. So then I go back to Public Health Center after my IA is done. And then
so I can see your face.
We're at an IDC conference in San Diego in 2014, I think it was. And that's when they first started talking about bringing females into the submarine force, enlisted females to the submarine force. And a couple of the sub guys that were there, they're talking about it, they're bragging how, how it's so great and the best of the best and everything. And the money is amazing. So I was up for sea duty, leaving public health. I didn't have very many options for sea. There's a lot of us and not a lot of ships, or at least it was at the time. So I figured, why not? And I gave it a shot. And so I went to sub IDC school. I didn't have to do the full curriculum. I just did the bridge program with the rad health portion and sub school, basic enlisted sub school. And then I went to the Michigan. I did 3 years on the Michigan. And then here I am at the ISSIC at Naval Submarine Support Center, Kings Bay, Georgia.
Wow. So let me say, first off, Master Chief, your story is amazing. It is motivating. So, and I told you guys I was going to drive my questions off of your responses. So my next question to you, and one thing I like that you said was the fact that your IDC trained you. Like it basically your IDC empowered you when you were a junior corpsman. So that's huge. But a question I want to ask you is, being a woman in the sub IDC community, how has that been for you?
So it's funny you asked that. I get asked that a lot, especially when I was on the boat, right? So the guys would come in and they've never been stationed with women before. And like I had this one guy is a senior chief, and he's like, so they come and check in with me, and at the end I always ask them, so do you have any questions for me? And this guy, he's like, yes. So what's it like being a female on board a submarine? So I'm like, I don't know. What's it like being a guy on board a submarine? I mean, so I was the first enlisted female to report on board a submarine with orders, and the crew they have already been with female officers. Female officers had been on board for about 3 or 4 years prior to me getting there, but they didn't know what to expect out of me. So me, it's a normal. I'm transferring commands. I'm going to the next billet available for me. It's a normal day for me, but for them, they don't know. You know. Gotcha. They've never worked with female chiefs or junior enlisted before. I don't know. It's normal for me, I guess.
Okay, so I tell you what, I'm gonna tag that onto a separate question then, because I was getting somewhere with that question. So I'm a junior sailor. I'm a female junior sailor, HM3 or HM2, and hold on, I have to mute people. Okay, I'm a female junior sailor, HM2, and I'm thinking about going to sub IDC school, but I'm a female and I don't know what it's going to be like. What are your words, or what is your advice to me as being a female sailor going to a sub?
Earn it, work for it, and earn it, just the same way that any man would. If you show up and you prove that you're going to be part of the team, that you really want to be there, you don't want to be there because you'll be the first female to do this, or the whatever, you really want to be here to be part of the crew, part of the family. Like that was the tightest knit family that I've ever been a part of when I was on board the submarine. I knew every single person's first and last name, if they were married, if they had kids. I still keep in touch with a lot of them today. It's as great as you're going to make it out to be. So as long as you go there, you work for it and earn it, and you don't expect any handouts, you're not going to have any issues.
Awesome. That's what I wanted to hear. Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right, Master Chief. So in your sub IDC experience, what are some of your best experiences that you've had?
I tell you, so the day I got my fish, the day I earned my fish, that was probably the most memorable experience I've ever had. So we were off the coast of Hawaii, surfaced, and we did it topside on Christmas Day. My 3MC pinned me my fish. That was probably the most memorable experience. But my first one was when I first checked into the boat, I relieved Master Chief Lem Palam, and he was there for a couple months before I left. So I got to go out on a ride with another submarine. So in the open ocean transfer, I'm out there on like this tug-like boat, crossing over, walking onto a submarine in the middle of the ocean, middle of the Pacific Ocean. That was pretty cool. And then doing a swim call off of there, that was, jumping off the top of a submarine into the ocean. It's so awesome. I had sailors who, everybody talks about, my back pain, my this, my that, and then just, genuinely showing care and compassion for them, not just blowing things off. They still reach out to me and tell me how the things that I did for them saved their lives, or, just it made such an impact. Those things are the better, like promoting's cool, getting awards, that's cool, but really being able to personally impact somebody's life, I think is the best thing.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right. My last question for you, Master Chief. Hi, I'm Junior Sailor again. I'm HN, HM3, HM2, Macaulay. I've been thinking about doing sub IDC. What can you tell me? How can you tell me your program, Master Chief?
You will never be any more independent than what you are on board a submarine. You're the XO and CO's right-hand man. You know, the pay is really good. You will continue to get sub pay. I'm on shore duty right now, and I still get sub pay. So you'll get sub pay as long as you're qualified to get sub pay, which is a pretty good chunk of money. The community, there's not even 200 of us. I guarantee you, if you ask me, you know, do I know this guy? Even if I don't know him personally, I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, he's out in Hawaii or wherever he is. You can almost pick where you're gonna go next. Maybe not what specific submarine, but the specific area, because there's only so many places that we have submarines operating out of. This is the most autonomy that I've ever had in my life, being on board a submarine. So if you're looking for a challenge and a close-knit community, I can't tell you that we wear the shorty shorts like Senior Chief Gomez does. We don't do that. Underway, you know, if you're a guy, you can grow out your beard. If you're a girl, you wear the ponytails, sneakers, whatever kind of shirt you want to wear under your poopy suit. So I can sell you on that a little bit. I don't live in a lavish hotel, so I do envy Senior Gomez a little bit like that. But if you want to grow the mustache that he's got, it's absolutely underway on board a submarine is where you go.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, look, you sold me on the beard because one of my favorite basketball players is James Harden. So I'm going to grow that out, but I can't swim. I got to put that out there.
You don't have to swim. That's the best part. See, come on over. I'll write your letter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Master Chief. If we can, we'll get you to stand by just in case any of the sailors has questions at the end. Okay. All right. All right. So we've touched underwater. We're getting ready to move to land. But when we're moving to land, we're going to move to some special operations type on land. So if I can bring Senior Chief King to the floor.
Right here.
All right, Senior Chief King, awesome. Welcome aboard. Just like with everyone else, Senior Chief, my first question to you is why? Why IDC and why specifically Recon?
I had a pretty similar path to most of you guys, I would assume. I came in, went to a hospital, did a deployment with, you know, the first deployment to Iraq, and I bit that niche. That was my life from then on out. So went from one infantry battalion to the second infantry battalion as fast as I could, and the next infantry battalion in line to need bodies was Recon. So I jumped over there. Really fell in love with the community, the small group, Senior Gomez. It's a really small knit group. You got a team, 14 plus guys. And you're the medic. So we were in Iraq, you know, doing the clearance operations of early Iraq. After that, I decided this was the pipeline I wanted to attend. So I went to the pipeline. If everyone doesn't know, we don't have non-IDCs in our community anymore. So now we are.
Senior Chief,
Can you hear me? Yeah, you got me real quick. Sorry, my phone rang. Yeah, so our community strictly. It's disconnecting again. I got you. Everyone good?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so it's strictly IDCs, but I came in before that, so went down the IDC route, and I've really enjoyed. It's tight teams. You're in a small. If you're either with MARSOC or with Recon battalions, you know all the guys on your team down to what blood type they are. You know everything about them. You know their medical issues. They're counting on you to be the teachable C special, you know, teachable C medic downrange, and and then on top of that, and then on top of that, the IDC requirements. You work with a lot of host nation countries, so you're working with them. You're teaching their partner forces. I don't live in the lavish hotel lifestyle, but I've done some pretty outlandish deployments. Independent, sort of similar to Master Chief. We are very independent. Not sub-independent, but I mean, you might be 3 or 4 countries from the closest next level of care. As an IDC, there's no better than that, especially through the African continent. We're definitely heavy into the African continent. Obviously, everyone knows we're in the Middle East and everywhere else, PACOM right now too. So it's just, I don't know. And then we have a lot of qualification come along with our job. Can't even tell you the schools I've attended. But just the basics, you have to be a parachute jumper and a Marine combat diver. Just to make through our pipeline and get the NEC.
Okay, awesome. And so that's where I think I want to head next with you, is because I know Recon, I know there's so much involved into it. if you don't mind, can you I guess give a basic general layout of what it takes to reach Recon IDC? What is the beginning to the end?
Yeah. So it's a 2+ year pipeline we're looking at. You'll attend the basic reconnaissance course out of Camp Pendleton, California. That's 3.5 months, from almost 4 months roughly. They've extended it a little bit recently, so I'm not sure the exact timeline anymore. So 4 months, that's pretty much one of those courses where you just get your face shoved in the dirt constantly to test your physical and mental ability to see if this is the right fit for you. From there, you'll attend Marine Combatant Diver course or Basic Airborne out of Marine Combatant Diver in Panama City, Florida. I think that's about a little just short of 2-month course, all diving the non-rebreather Draeger system. So no bubbles, no bubble kind of insert. It's an insert capability. And then Fort Benning Basic Airborne course. That's a static line parachuting. You're jumping out of the back of a plane, your parachute's being pulled for you, and you're landing, about 15, you're landing where you're supposed to land. And then you'll probably go back to Panama City. We do the, what is that? Similar to the DMT's dive medicine, the dive medicine course. We have to be qualified in dive medicine. We don't go nearly as extensive as Senior Chief Gomez did. That's more his lane, but we're still qualified because when we go downrange, if we are diving, we have a dive malady. There's not always a DMT present. And then we go to Fort Bragg for Special Operations Combat Medic, and then Special Operations Independent Duty Corpsman. So Special Operations Combat Medic is a 9-month course hosted by Fort Bragg. It's all Special Operations, Teachable C, heavy pathophysiology, just the basics. And then you will go into an advanced medicine course where we do surgery, anesthesia, advanced vet, and stuff like that.
Awesome. Okay, Senior Chief King. So that leads me to my next question then. You just talked to me about a lot of schooling, and it sounds like, this is great. But my question to you is, I'm HM3 Macaulay, and I'm at the hospital, and I'm thinking about doing on IDC. What would you say are the characteristics or the things that I need that would prepare me to make it through something of this rigorous course? I mean, obviously physical training, but what are some things you could tell me I could work on as an HM3 or HM2 to make me better prepared for this?
So one of the things we can, you're very right. The training of the physical is huge. I screen most of the East Coast sailors that are here. But yeah, the physical one is the biggest downfall for us. If guys aren't extremely physically fit when they go into it, there's not a chance. But the mental capabilities after that, I can't train mental. But if you were trying to go into it, honestly, passing the basic reconnaissance courses is our biggest downfall. Once you get past that, when you get into the medicine course, if you could study anatomy, pathophysiology, same as any other, all the IDC courses across the board, the basic medicine is always good to know. There's really not a lot of pre-courses we can do. Maybe if you went to EMT or got that route, but most Corpsman Basic School offers the majority of what they need going into the course, like for knowing the vitals. We're going against Army guys who have never been a medic, and they're showing up the same day we are to SOC. I mean, usually we have an advantage because maybe we've been a corpsman for a couple of years. We've done vitals. We've done that stuff. They don't even know how to do vitals yet. They're learning day one, everything. So, man, that's a good question. I would have to say 100% is the physical and mental strength. And I don't know how to train mental besides I haze the living crap out of cadets to make sure that this is what they want. Because if they're going to quit, they're going to quit on me. They're not going to quit with my name on them,
Oh man, that is deep. That is deep. I love it. And I totally agree with you. I don't want you out in, where we absolutely need you and I can't depend on you. So I completely agree with you, what I'm saying, Chief. Okay, I got 2 more questions for you, and then we'll move on.
Yes, sir.
My next question is, and I don't know how much in details you can go into, but what are some of your best experiences of being a Recon IDC?
Yeah, so it's a very deployed setting. It's a very heavy deployment community. I'm sitting on 8 deployments in just under 17 years. And I didn't become this route until I was an E5. So I would say I've got 8 deployments in 6 years, 8 years, about 1 a year. I would say I've done a lot of independent stuff similar to Master Chief. This last deployment, we were in Somalia. That's common knowledge to everybody. A couple years ago, we had received some IDF. I was the lead for the entire base. There was 200 plus SOF from different entities across the spectrum. I had a general surgical team that fell directly under me. I reported to the HOA, this HOA CG, my commander. I had a HOA commanding officer out there. Very similar to what Master Chief said too. I could pretty much wear whatever I wanted to. I had a sweet stash at that time too. I've recently shaved because you got to look good back here. But other than that, I can't describe every team I've been on. It's always independent. I lived in Tunisia for 7 months with the highest ranking person was an E8. I mean, we did combat operations in southern Tunisia, and then would go to northern Tunisia and go have a beer out in town with the ambassador. And you're working directly with ambassadors. You know defense attachés for 06 level people. You're talking to them regularly. In this community, you have to be able to talk to someone who's at an ambassador level at an E5 pay grade. It's very common for our E5 corpsmen because we have E5 IDCs, we have E4 IDCs. To go straight to and have to brief the ambassador for our operations in that area and sound educated, as proper as they can. I understand not everyone has the same education levels, but they have to go there, brief an ambassador, and he has to buy off on our mission.
Wow, that is deep. That is very deep. All right, Senior Chief, you leave me with one last question. Hi,
Yes, sir.
I'm HM3 Macaulay, Junior Sailor. I've heard dive, I heard sub, but I think I'm leaning more towards recon. What can you tell me to come join you, Senior Chief?
As I love all of our communities, it all depends on what you really want to do. So not only am I an IDC, I'm a shooter in a team. I'm on the stack going in the door. So if you want to have, there's the deep sea has their mission set of the husbandry and all this stuff like that. We don't deal with anything like that. We don't see ship life. We do a little bit, very little. I think I've got a total of like 64 days on ship in my career. You're not going to see ship life. You're going to see airplanes to combat zones. You're going to be training foreign forces. You're really not going to be a sailor. You're going to be a operational sailor, downrange. We'll call it doing God's work for against the bad guys. And you can actually, in my mind, and I know every operation, but in my mind, I look back at like all the operations the United States has done. And a lot of it, the ground forces are one of the biggest assets we have. And I wanted to be part of that, just like I was when I was in 8404. And the only way to go further with that to me was to go the SOIDC route and be guaranteed the rest of my career I would be a ground pounder.
Awesome. Great answer. And thank you for what you do. All right.
No problem.
That is awesome.
I got one thing. I'm going to shoot you my email. If anybody has any questions, have them email me. I have to take off. I got a meeting.
Okay, awesome. Please do.
I'll put it on the Facebook group.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, boss. Have a good day, guys.
All right. So far it's a tie for me for dive, sub, and recon. I mean, I can't swim, but at least sub, I don't have to swim. And maybe seeing Gomez can teach me how to swim for dive. And recon, I can shoot pretty good and no swimming. So we don't know, but we still got surface left. And not only do we have surface left, but we have a gang of surface members to tell us some things. So here's what we're gonna do with surface, since I have probably about 80% of the surface IDC right here. I'm just gonna go down the list and I'll ask you a question and we'll come back around. And then once we finish with the surface, then that's when we'll open up to questions for all the sailors that are on board to ask whatever question they have. And remember, sailors that are on board right now, if you do have questions that you come up with, you can type it in the chat, as well as you can save it for the end and ask on the audio as well. Okay, so let me start with HM1 Williams. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right, HM1 Williams, question for you with being surface. What so far has been your best experience of being a surface IDC?
My best experience of being a surface IDC, it was in 2017. I was at Special Purpose MAGTAF, Crisis Response Africa. I was independent with 2 baby docs in Gabon, West Africa, about 250 to 280 miles away from a third world country trauma center. So literally we were it. We actually had some whole blood, transfusion kits with us. So we're one of the first units to have that. So that was a very interesting experience and my most fulfilling experience because, you know, literally I had to fall back on all my skills and also, you know, lead sailors and motivate sailors and teach. We actually had a British Army. They had a generalist there, a doctor that had been, you know, specialized trained or whatever it is. And even she was like, you know, way more than I do. And I was like, wow. So, you know, the Navy definitely trains IDCs really, really well.
Wow, that is awesome. Sheesh. Man, you kind of threw me off on my next question. All right. Well, HM Williams, hi, again, I'm HM3 Macaulay, and I'm thinking about doing Surface IDC. What are some things that you would tell me to help motivate me to want to come and join your program?
Well, as a Surface IDC, we're really in my opinion, of the IDC community, the Swiss Army knives, because we can go to NSW commands, we can go to Surface, obviously, we can go to Marines, we can go to NECC commands, we go to, you know, well, I think some of the IDCs can too, other IDC communities, but we can go to the White House, we can go to Camp David, those kind of things. So we can do just about a little bit of everything. It's just up to what you want to do, your motivation, and, you know, and what you aspire to do as an IDC. Because I've been, you know, with the Marines, I've been independent on a patrol coastal, and I just came back from a deployment doing counter narcotics on a, you know, low profile vessel, independent. So it's been an interesting career for me. And I would say you can just do a little bit of everything. And definitely you're a recognized leader. When they know you're IDC, especially when you're independent, you're a leader.
Wow, you are very articulate. That was a great answer, man. All right, thank you so much, H1 Williams. We'll come back to you.
Thank you.
Let me move forward to. I'm not sure if HMC or I'm not sure if it's HMCS. I don't know. Did Bright ever come back in? I think somebody said he was having technical issues. So if not, okay, we'll move forward to HMC Maddox. HMC Maddox.
He's here.
Oh, is
Chief
he?
White is here. Yeah, he's here.
HMC Bright, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, there you go. Sorry about that. There you go. There you go. All right, HMC Bright, welcome aboard. I know you were having technical difficulties, but it seems we're good now. So what would you say are some of your best experiences of being a Surface IDC?
I think this is my first tour, obviously, as at IDC. I was a lab tech prior to this. My first tour has been on the DDG. I think the experience for me has been great. Being able to sail underway, I've been underway the majority of the time I've been on board the last, and so we've been being by myself, getting the respect from the crew. It's lovely, you know, like everybody respects me, everybody shows you love, and I think that's the biggest part for me. And obviously, winning the 2019 Surface Navy Association IDC of the Year award was a huge accomplishment.
Well, congratulations on that. And you definitely drove me to my next question. So you're a prior lab tech. So then my next question to you would be, why? Why did you go from lab tech to IDC?
I was a lab tech on board the USS Rushmore prior to going to IDC school. My IDC Francis, retired Francis, Senior Chief Francis Nicola was, he pushed me, you know, he showed me that I could be more than just a lab tech. He had me running the medical department as an HM1. And once I fell in love with that, I was like, I got to go to IDC school. I want my own ship. We were on deployment in 2015. I saw the Forrest Sherman behind us refueling, running full speed, the rooster tail. And I was like, yeah, I'm all about that life.
and now you love it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. All right. Good stuff. All right. HMC Maddox. HMC Maddox. I know your Surface as well. So what has been some of your best experiences? What has fulfilled you being a Surface IDC?
The travel. Coming from Mississippi, Louisiana, we didn't get to travel, and I joined the Navy to travel to see the world. In 2014, 2015, right out of sea school, I got to go to Japan. I got to see all of that for the like in a real sense, actual land tour on Okinawa, and go to Mount Fuji, and to go see all of that, and to go to Yokosuka in Tokyo and see all that. That was an awesome experience. But obviously in 2017, we go do God's work in Iraq and all of that, and to see the difference between northern and southern Iraq, that was something interesting to see. The best experience was this last deployment 7 months. Got back in April of this year during the height of during the start of the coronavirus pandemic, and I got to see a lot of different countries that I never thought I'd get to see, and I actually stepped foot in Australia. So I got to go to Perth, Australia, which feels like San Diego. I got to go to Sydney. I got to go to Brisbane. I got to go to Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, and Guam, obviously, and I got to see all of those islands. I got to get in the water. I got to ride around the boat. I got to fish, and I got to go do diplomatic type of things, wearing a suit or even walking around in a polo shirt and sneakers. But the mission set is so dynamic to where next thing you can be shooting down range, and the next thing you know, you could be training partner forces in TCCC, or you can be working in an operations center, developing plans, working on admin, and in one point in time, being the sole reporter to PAC Fleet over coronavirus. It can flip in a second. And that's what I like about it, the travel and the ability to be dynamic and to do pretty much what I can in effect.
Nice, man. That was a great answer, especially with the piece where you talk about you can be dynamic in different areas. I guess that's probably going to lead to your next answer, because you know what my next question is. Hi, I'm H3 McCauley again. Why should I come be service IDC? What can you tell me?
All right, so from a personal experience, I was working at Hornet Health Clinic in Lemoore, California as an AVT, and now Master Chief Dela Cruz at that time set me down and was like, Jay, what's up, what you want to do? And at the time I was the chief, and we started rapping about things and kept it real with him. I said I wanted to travel. I wanted to go do things. I wanted to take things to the next level. I wanted to accept the ultimate challenge. So I accepted the ultimate challenge and went to IDC school in 2014. If you want to do more than just sit at the hospital, take vital signs or do alter notes, come on down. If you want to go FMF and be an IDC, come on down. If you want to work with the SEAL teams like I did, or work with expeditionary units or the Riverine Squadron, come on down. This NEC as an IDC, we can go anywhere. We can do anything. And most importantly, we're never going to go away. We're always needed. You want promotion? We got that. Come on down. You want extra pay? You want bonuses? You want more money per diem? Come on down. We got that too. You want extra credits for school? We got that too now, thanks to Senior Chief Gomez and Master Chief Haskins and all those guys at Swimmy and Emasi. Come on down. We got it. We have almost anything and everything you can ask for. We got you. And the community is tight enough to where we bring you in once you finish and graduate, and we'll build you up and we'll help you. You're always within reach of someone that can help you. There's someone that's been there and done that.
Wow. You sound like you should be over here doing my job and be recruiting, because you definitely just sold all the benefits of being, you probably go out on these streets and get a civilian. Hey, come on in and be an IDC.
Well, what's funny is now I'm an instructor at NUMI, which is sub IDC school, and I'm a surface IDC, and I'm an instructor at NUMI. We can do anything.
Gotcha. Okay. Easy day. All right. Thank you for that. Let's move to HM1 Grow. HM1 Grow. Why? Why did you choose to be a surface IDC, and what some of your best experiences? Is HM1 Grow still there, or did she have to go? HM1 Grow, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm driving. My signal cut out.
Oh, okay. Well, are you safe? I don't want you to have to drive and then, okay, because we need you.
I'm safe. I have the stuff.
Okay, so why did you choose to become a service IDC, and what were some of your best experiences?
So, just like everyone else, have my own story, my own route. I originally enlisted as an aviation electronic tech, and when PTS first came out, I got pushed over to dental and corpsman right as they were merging, and became a dental tech. Did a tour at Portsmouth out of Souls Point. Went to the USS Kearsarge in after putting on E5 on my very last try. And our dental doc was very big on ensuring the corpsman knew how to do dental, and us dental knew how to do everything medical could do. That deployment was supposed to be 6 months, and we deployed early, went over, ended up transporting the SEALs with the Bin Laden campaign. We did Libya, and working hand in hand with Master Chief Robert Loomis and his replacement, Senior Chief Craig Steele, during that time was the best thing ever. I was expanded functions dental, working independently, and then seeing how the medical side of the house was. I already enjoyed the independent work, and the way the patients and just confided in medical was amazing. You are their lifeline. You're the first stop they come to. If they see you in the morning, hey doc, I need to see you later on, make time, whatever. It was just kind of that calling. And I graduated IDC school in 2015, went straight to Balboa, and out of Balboa did 2 tours on the Mercy, and that opened my eyes up a lot more than just my first deployment. I was working hand in hand with multiple countries, teaching doctors in Vietnam who were behind the medical curve 30 years on how to do disaster triage and how to transport patients safely and properly. We had the Surgeon General come in to Da Nang, Vietnam, sit down with myself and one of our ER trauma docs that we had that came to us from Guam, and we had the whole country watching us on their local Vietnamese news stations. We were the first Americans since the Vietnam War to actually be on boats in the river, and seeing how you can change another country's perspective on medicine, and then the junior corpsmen that were with us so engaged and wanting to grab that knowledge from your mind bank and then teach as well was amazing. And right before I got to the LCS pre-com community that I'm in now, my tour before was in El Salvador. And I worked hand in hand with the Air Force, the Army, the Marines that were stationed at the embassy there. I was teaching Salvadorian Air Force and Army how to do basic medicine, because their basic medicine was just taking vitals and writing a note. They didn't know anything about medications, how to do wound care, anything like that. And there's days that it does suck because you are pressed for time.
Are you still there, H1?
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
So there's, like I was saying, there's days that you're pressed, and it sucks because you don't seem like there's enough time in the day. But now where I'm at, building the camaraderie and the rapport with my chain of command on my soon-to-be crew of 70, and having that family unit and reaching back to my brothers and sisters, if I don't have an answer, it's the most gratifying thing I've done in the 18 years that I have been in.
Wow. Well, H1, I can tell you, I don't even have to ask you, what would you tell me to try to join your community? Because what you just said make me want to go to swimming right now. Sit in the class and go through it. That was awesome. That was awesome. Amazing. We'll come back to you. That was awesome. H1 Osorio, talk to me. Why did you decide to go be a surface IDC, and what were some of your best experiences?
Thanks for having me, Chief. What made me kind of become a surface IDC was the IDCs that I worked with. They were always the go-to person, no matter if you had a question with admin or medical. They're always that go-to person. You can kind of see it where our first duty station was at a hospital, and you can see it. The SEL was a senior chief, IDC. And then when I was at RE1, the IDC was also the SEL there, and he was just that go-to. Whether it was the officers asking questions, you just see that respect that he had, and that swagger he had, and so that really impressed me. So that's why I chose the surface IDC route. But Master Chief kind of got me motivated about doing sub IDC with the extra pay on shore duty though. But probably my most humbling or cool experience that I had as an IDC. I'm the NRMTC Guantanamo Bay IDC out here, over here in Gitmo. I did get to do, I'm clinically in the clinic all day, seeing patients and whatnot, and then doing the LPO, directed LPO. At some point I was SEL for about a quarter. But I did get to do Department of Defense, the Prisoner of War Accounting Agency mission. If any other IDC that's on here that's able to do that, for sure, jump on one of those missions. And one of those missions is that they take a group, a team of Army, Air Force, Marines, and they send them over to different locations where we're still missing service members. And so I got to go with the team with some EOD guys and some Air Force dudes, some Army dudes, and we went to the middle of Laos along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, very, very remote. And got to be the team medic as we dug up and searched for Americans to bring home. So that was probably the most humbling experience I've ever had in my military career. And I would have never gotten to do that if I wasn't an IDC.
Nice. I like that. And then I think one other thing that you mentioned that caught my attention was the fact that you said, you're doing clinical care, but you're also having to be, the LPO, direct LPO. You even had to take over the SEL position. So I think that is awesome. It really allows you to be independent, and it empowers you, which is also great for your career. So I think that's awesome. That's all I have for now. We'll come back.
Sweet.
HM1 friend chain. Why did you decide to be a service IDC, and what were some of your best experiences?
So when I was deployed, my first deployment was with 2nd MLG, and we had legitimately probably the best IDC mentors. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to increase my scope of care. If you want to do procedures, you want to prescribe medications, you want to do more, IDC is the perfect way to figure out how much you like patient care. I wouldn't say that use IDC as a stepping stone, but all the things that you learn, if you decide to move on to something else, eventually, all that background is amazing for you. So some of my best experiences, teaching junior corpsmen was probably the biggest joy of my entire time as an IDC. I just love watching the junior sailors grow, the junior corpsmen grow, and be able to do procedures and hopefully take over my job one day.
And it's funny you say that, but that's actually what we're here for. I mean, that's what leaders do. Leaders develop leaders, right? Your job as the IDC is to train the baby doc so they can eventually take over, which is the whole purpose of this IDC roundtable. We want to groom our junior corpsmen or even some of our senior sailors to come in and relieve your duties. So that is awesome. HM1 French Hang, I'm an HM3, right? And I'm working in a hospital. I'm thinking about going surface IDC. What would be your advice?
My advice would be to absolutely go for it. If you want to deploy, for one thing, you definitely should go IDC. If you want more hands-on experience, if you want more than just taking vital signs, you should also definitely go IDC.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you so much. HM1 Raquel, you there?
Yes, Chief.
Awesome. HM1 Raquel. So why did you choose to be a surface IDC, and what were some of your best experiences?
I'll have to mimic what was said in a lot of the other presenters. The diversity, the different dynamics that you're able to do, not being pigeonholed into just leadership or just patient care was also a big reason why I chose to go. Being able to do both is something important to me. Some of my best experiences as an IDC, I would say one of them would be working in Afghanistan at NATO headquarters. So I was the operations manager out there, working completely outside of the medical realm. And then this last year, 2019, I was selected as Expeditionary IDC of the Year. So
Hey.
that was also a good accomplishment. So
Congrats.
thank you. But for me personally, I've never stepped foot on a ship. I've always been deployed in the sandbox or in some remote location. So it's not always just being surface. It's not always just shipboard as well.
Awesome. I'm glad you said that. That is a great caveat because a junior sailor might be thinking, well, if I go service IDC, I'm only going to get to go to ships. But no, you get to go anywhere. And I think Chief Maddox mentioned that earlier. So HM1 Raquel, hi, I'm HM3 Macaulay. I'm thinking about joining your community. What advice would you give me?
My advice for you, HM3 Macaulay, would be work closely with your IDC already, making sure that you are able to multitask, be able to take care of multiple patients and all the administrative and leadership aspects going on with that. And make sure that patient care is something that you are interested in and want to do. A lot of people get into the field and they're like, oh, I don't even like patient care. I just want to do X, Y, or Z. So just making sure that you're 100% sure that this is the job that you want to do.
Absolutely. Great response. Great response. The patient care. If you go on IDC, you got to love taking care of patients. It's no way around it. Great response. HM1 O'Neill. HM1 O'Neill. Why? Why did you choose to be an IDC, and what are some of your best experiences?
Why did I choose to be IDC? So I was stationed at Bethesda, and I was working with Senior Chief Dela Cruz, who's now in the PA program, and I worked hand in hand with him. He was our SEL. He would always go to all the meetings with the department heads and everything, and I came in as his LPO, as a second class, and he took me under his wing, and I kind of saw the aspect of the admin side of it, of taking care of all the admin work, dealing with the generals and stuff at Bethesda, and just being that face for our department. And then I was a big advocate of patient care. I had 10 junior sailors under me and 3 Army medics, and our sick call program wasn't the best. And me and Senior Chief Dela Cruz went in and I re-advised the sick call program, got them more involved, and started teaching them more about medicine and everything, getting hands-on. So I love that aspect of giving back to the junior sailors. And Senior Chief Dela Cruz, he never really pushed me towards it, but I would ask him about it, and he sat me down and he was like, sit down for a week and think about it, and then come back to me and then tell me if this is something that you really want to do. And then one of my best experiences as an IDC, I was stationed out in Bahrain on the USS Firebolt. We were out doing some operations, and we had a Coast Guard cutter with us that had a medical emergency, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I was just getting off watch, and I got ribbed over there to go help out on their ship, go take care of our Coast Guardsmen. And then they actually taught me stuff about their engine rooms and everything, and I actually helped them stand up their watch so we could pull back into port and get a medevac.
Awesome. That is great. And HM1 O'Neill, you said some things that gave me an epiphany about why we're here in the first place, because all of y'all have mentioned leadership, but the things that you were mentioning, it ties into the word called fulfillment. And I hear that in a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys chose to be an IDC, or you still love being an IDC because you're fulfilled. It is a fulfillment. You love giving back. Like a lot of y'all, I keep hearing y'all saying, I love teaching, I love teaching, I love teaching. That's fulfillment. So it's not even about the money. The money is in addition for a lot of y'all. But the job satisfaction that you guys get from teaching junior corpsmen, you can't take that away. So I think that was awesome that you covered that, HM1 O'Neill. Good stuff. HM1 Anderson, why? Why IDC? And what are some of your best experiences?
So I chose to go IDC because starting in the Navy, I was exposed to a lot of IDCs over at the School of Infantry West. And, just seeing their responsibilities, especially, you get a lot of injuries and emergency patients over there, seeing them take charge, and then seeing them make calls to adjust how that clinic was performing by implementing additional training and stuff. It helped mold me as a corpsman and really set me up for when I deployed with Greenside. Initially, I was going to go to IDC school right after my second duty station, but I pulled it because the Marines were just running all over the sailors, and I was like, no, I need to stay and take care of these guys. So transferred to shore duty again, and it was different going to a hospital that time because I was seeing the corpsmen being used as vital sign techs and not getting that same training that I got at my first duty station. So about a year in, I was like, no, I need to put myself in a position where I can teach these guys and not have somebody over me say, no, we don't have time for that. We got to do this JKO or something like that. So made the call, talked to Mr. Ramsey, and explained to myself of why I pulled that package and why I want to go back and why I need to be there. And I was lucky to get a seat. So that's why I went to surface, and I chose surface specifically because I wanted to be flexible. I didn't want to be stuck in one community. I was really excited about that aspect. As far as like my best experience as an IDC, it's really interesting. So after leaving the schoolhouse, I traveled overseas. So I'm at my first duty station. It's Okinawa. And here the op tempo is really, really fast because there's not a lot of people out here, but there's still just as much work, if not more. So as soon as I get here, they're like, hey, you're getting passed out to this unit and you're deploying to the Philippines in 28 days. And I was like, oh, yes, all right, let's do this, Didn't have Alta access at the clinic, didn't have any experience, get on a plane, fly, and then figure it out. I had a really good chief with me, who was in charge of the admin piece, and we were adbon, right? Go over there, we're setting up for this exercise that's gonna happen with a couple different countries, and then we get hit with like a super typhoon, so it's like, oh man, I gotta adjust to this. And then back in Okinawa, we're waiting for the main body to show up, but they get hit with 2 back-to-back typhoons also, so it's like, oh man, this is interesting. So I'm adjusting to that, and then finally the main body shows up, right? That same day that the main body shows up, a couple of
He's not easy.
Right. Yeah. That same day that the plane lands with the main body, 2 foreign military personnel actually get into a car accident, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I had some corpsmen that were tasked out to me from another part of 3 MEV, and I'm like trying to people manage, like, all right, how do we do this here? We got people that planes landing, we gotta keep medical here. We got this emergency that happened, no joke, like a mile down the road, and what are we doing here? So I kept one corpsman. I was like, hey, stay here for flight line purposes. You're gonna go to the accident, and I need you to report back to me what's going on, and so we're managing. And then my surgeon lands, no joke, it's one butted chow because it was lunchtime. He's like, well, I guess I gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, all right, sir, I'll see you there, and I remember this older gentleman, he comes walking up, classic, like, oh my God, I know sick calls in the morning, doc, but can you get me in? And I'm like, sir, I'm here for you. Let's do this, and checking, getting this guy's history, interesting, classic textbook history, and I got this call to make, because I'm thinking like, oh man, I think this dude's got appendicitis, like this dude just landed from Okinawa. He could not go to the ER back then because of the back-to-back typhoons. And he's matching all of the classic signs that we learned in IDC school. And I remember sitting there and I'm like, this is my first gig. I don't want to, call ISOS and move this guy if I don't have to. But it's sketchy. And I remember the 31st MEU SEO, he walks in because he's just checking in, doing some mentoring with me. And he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm just like, my doctor is at the hospital. all this craziness is going on, and I think I got to get this dude in because he might need surgery. He goes, well, you're the guy. And I was just like, you know what? I am the guy. Let's do this, you know? So rang up ISOS, threw this guy in the car. We went to the hospital, and I remember my surgeon, he walks up to me because I was trying to call him and give him a heads up that I was coming. And he goes, hey, sorry, I missed your call. What's up? I was like, well, do you want me to turn this patient over to you so I can go back to the, you know, to the work site? And he goes, no, actually, I want you to tell that guy over there so I could sneak into the ER and then check on the other 2 patients. You know, this guy's yours. And I was like, all right, let's do this, sir. You know, so I go in, you know, we get this guy in, and then this the Filipino doctor, he comes up, you know, he goes, hey, what do you got? You know, I was like, oh, I got this because, you know, I got positive this, you know, and this is his history, and I want to do these labs, and I want to get this imaging done. And he looks at me and he goes, well, are you a doctor? You know, and I'm like, no, but this is my patient, you know, and he goes, all right, you know, we'll see. So they go, send him out for his labs, you know, and I'm sitting there waiting for him in his bay where his bed was at. And they roll him back, and I'm just kind of comforting this guy, saying, hey, you know, you need me to do anything? He's like, yeah, call this guy so you can get a hold of my wife, just a heads up. And the doctor rolls up, you know, I'm like, hey, sir, what's going on? What are we looking at? And he goes, it's a good call, you know, and I was just like, yeah, you know, yes, it was. Thank you for that training, you know, so made a good call, you know, got that guy surgery, managed him there for a couple of days, and we got him on a plane to go back. And then the rest of that deployment, it was dealing with the medical piece. It was, I think a volcano went off in like Indonesia too. So I had to like scrounge for medical sites or medical supplies in case we had to get activated and go respond over there for humanitarian purposes. I was able to mentor corpsmen, not just in the medical side, but also, you know, as a first class petty officer. You know, I had the ability to impact careers that way and open their eyes to more than just what they were exposed to at their, you know, their other commands. Had to trend injuries. I had to call surrounding training sites, you know, which is how I met Stephanie Fanchang to get what her injuries were and then reported up the chain of command. I had to brief like my chief of staff at the time. There's just so much that you can do that is more than just seeing patients, and I love that aspect of it. Sorry it was so long.
Oh, awesome. Wow. So that was a great story. And you definitely had to be diverse in your background because you dealt with so much volcanoes, typhoons, comets falling from the sky, aliens. That's a lot. So good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to our last one, and then we'll get to questions. Our last one is HM2 Swenson. HM2 Swenson. Hey, why? Why did you choose to be an IDC, and what is your best experience?
So just like with everybody else, just working with IDCs throughout my career, starting in 2nd Marine Division as a junior corpsman, that no other medical entity that I had worked with up until this point now had more respect than IDCs. Anywhere you go, no matter what branch you talk to, if you mention that you're an IDC, you get looked at in a different light. And it's funny because Senior Chief Keene was actually one of the reasons I wanted to become an IDC. I doubt that he'd remember me, but I did some pre-deployment workup stuff with him around 2016. And seeing the way that he trained his team, the corpsmen that worked under him, how proficient they are, he literally had to just stand back as his team worked on their patients. And he didn't really have to say anything until it came to like legitimate surgical procedure. And again, it comes back to that teaching thing. Like I also love to teach. I love learning even more. So having that capability and seeing that was just like, that's it. That's what I want to do. Wow, good stuff. So it sounds like to me you're thinking about being a Recon IDC at some point. Got it. No. My knees couldn't handle that. All right, good to go. Okay, hey, I also got another, one more special guest. I just got a message. I want to make sure, do I have Chief Herman Say online?
Hey, yeah, hey, good afternoon. I'm a man.
Uh-oh, I think you were going in and
Hello,
out.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm up. I'm following, man. What's up?
All right. So from what I'm being told, you are the course supervisor down at Swimmy. So I think this is a perfect segue before we get into the general questions from the sailors. So I don't know if this is true, but I hear there are some changes going on down there at Swimmy. I'm being told that if you graduate IDC school, you now are given MD. Is that true?
Yeah, no, man. We're good. We're not that good, man. Still a 13-month program. But we do have a program affiliation with USU where we do get a bachelor's in applied health science coming out of here. It depends, right? Each sailor comes in with a different amount of credits and things like that, and depending on what the USU is going to take. But that's the plan, right? Ideally and generally speaking, corpsman second class usually that comes in with what they've done in the military upon successful graduation should be getting a bachelor's degree through USU for applied health sciences.
Awesome. Okay. So I guess if let's say I'm a chief out at Walter Reed and I have HM3s and HM2s, I would like to push college to them, because if I can go ahead and knock out some college courses, then when they get to IDC school, by the time they graduate, then the college courses that they took along with IDC school will give them a bachelor's. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, everybody's going to come in, and when, like during INDOC, essentially, we start the application process and get everybody enrolled into USU. Just like with any college, they have to send our transcripts, or the student has to send the transcripts to USU so that they can create an individualized degree plan moving forward with the plan and the intent to graduate from school. Now, the only credits that we get here from USU are upper level credits. So that's kind of where that past, whatever schooling you've done comes into play. Ultimately, right, long term, we're trying to work something, USU's trying to work something through core school in Fort Sam Houston to kind of add so that there's a nice flow of degree accreditation and all that stuff, upon graduation of IDC school eventually. But that's long term. That's not going on right now. Right now, we just offer the upper level credits enough usually to get people bachelors.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. And then I have a question for you, since you're the course supervisor. Hi, I'm HM3 Macaulay. I'm thinking about coming to IDC school. I'll be honest with you, Chief. I'm probably not the smartest in the world, but I really love taking care of patients and I really want to be an IDC. What advice can you give me as far as the curriculum at IDC school?
So I will tell you this, it has been improved, right, drastically. Even from when I came, it's a lot harder, right? You're going to get a bachelor's coming out of here. Medicine changes, it's always evolving, and we're having to keep up with those changes. There is a degree of difficulty, right? If you don't have your study habits down pat, if you're not familiar, you're not used to going to school and literally spending study time, like quality study time, to kind of focus and get everything that you need to pass these exams and these testing evolutions, it's going to be difficult, right? The personal life aspect is important as well. We brief them, hey, this isn't your typical shore duty. You can treat this as like a TAD or a deployment, right? Because as soon as you finish with the didactic piece here, or the mandatory time that you're in seats in class, you're gonna have to go home and study a lot. Particularly right now with COVID, we've adjusted and a lot of things have been online, kind of distance learning combination of things. We still can't test any sailors outside of the schoolhouse. They still have to come in for tests, but a lot of the curriculum is pushed out via distance learning, and that puts the onus on the student to ensure, hey, I'm getting this, and if I'm not getting this, I need some help. And I'm telling you, our suite down here and our cadre is head over heels over students, right? If we see that a student is putting in the effort and wants to be here and they're requesting for help, and there's no reason why a student can't pass this course, right? they can get all the help they can, especially right now, distance learning. Like we're getting hit up weekends, like in the evenings, like whenever. We use Microsoft Teams, like a lot of units out there do, and it's super easy. We just pull up the phone and we're able to answer questions and clarify things that, you know, a student may have trouble with. But it is an adjustment, and it's not your ideal learning environment, if you will. So some people will have difficulties, and we have to work it. You know, we have to work around it.
Awesome. Wow. Well, you definitely shed a light on the questions that I have, especially in regards to the degree, because I know a lot of junior sailors had questions about that. So what we'll do at this point, I know there are some sailors that are on board. Sailors that are not IDCs, if you have questions, you are more than welcome to type it in the chat, or you are more than welcome to come off of audio, and you can ask anybody on this panel a question. Any platform, anybody. This is your time.
Chief, HM2 Nally again from last night. Quick question for Master Chief Devitt. And apologize if I said that incorrectly. With you being a sub-IDC, I know there's different types of boats that you can obviously go on. What are the different type of boats that you've had, and which one would you say was the best experience that you had?
So I've only been stationed on one boat, USS Michigan, which is a guided missile submarine. So they carry Tomahawk missiles. Then there's, so we have three types right now. You have the SSGNs, the SSBNs, and then the SSNs. So the SSNs are the fast attacks. They're the hunter killer type submarines that you typically hear people describe them as. The SSBNs they're the ones that carry the ballistic missiles with the nuclear warheads on them. So they go on deterrent patrols. So they're kind of there to remain on station, you know, kind of on scene, unseen, quiet, you know, stealthy, just there in case they have to launch the ballistic missiles. People joke that you know, they call it fast attack tough. You know, you're not a real submariner unless you've done a fast boat. I don't know. I can't attest to that. I do know that people like the fast boat life, and other people do not. I know people like the two crew life. So on the SSGNs and the SSBNs, you have a blue and gold crew, kind of similar to what the LCS ships have. So, you know, so personal experience, I was on the USS Michigan out of Bangor, Washington, forward deployed out of Guam. So we would pack up every so often. It typically was every 6 to 7 months. We would pack up, fly to Guam, spend about 3 days with the opposite crew there. So both crews would be working on board the boat, turn everything over, and then the other crew would go home. We would be in Guam for a little bit doing some repairs, pier side, and then we would go out on mission. The kind of the cool thing, but also the boring thing about the SSBNs that people, they like but they don't like. So strategic deterrence is the nation's #1 priority. If you read any of the like the National Defense Strategy, the National Maritime Strategy, it talks a lot about strategic deterrence, and that's what our submarines do. So they get a lot of attention. There's a extra program that they have that none of the other submarines have. It's the Personal Reliability Program. So there's a little bit of extra work for you as a doc in that. But I don't know. I guess, did I answer your question?
You did, Master Chief. It's just more like I had a cook that I worked with, a CSS1 that was actually down in Kings Bay for recruiting, and he was telling me about the different subs, and I was just trying to get more of a clearer insight on the different types of subs, because he was telling me that there's one sub that, you know, one type of sub that doesn't really go out as much as other subs, and I was just trying to, you know, get the insight of how they actually, well, not necessarily the missions, but how they actually go and I completely get, because I was out in Guam with the USS Michigan, so I know how they do theirs, and that's what I was trying to get insight on.
Okay, so he's probably talking about the SSBNs. So with the SSBNs and the SSGNs, there's 2 home ports. It's only here in Kings Bay, Georgia, and then in Bangor, Washington. And then the fast attacks, you have Guam, San Diego, Pearl Harbor, Groton, and Norfolk. We don't have any submarines that are home ported in foreign ports. The SSGNs that are on the East Coast, they were deployed out of Diego Garcia. So if you were on the Florida and Georgia, the 2 SSGNs here, if you were on one of those, you would pack up and fly to Diego Garcia and do the same thing there that I did in Guam. So the SSBNs, their patrol cycles are not as long as the fast attack deployment cycles or the SSGN deployment cycles. I did forget about the Seawolf class submarines. So they're also SSN submarines, but they do the top level secret missions. So a lot of times you're not going to hear anything about what those guys do. One of them, the Jimmy Carter, you can't even go to the pier where they are. Like it's so high level classified. So if you're screened into that, it's the submarine development squadron. So if you're screened into that, you get high level security clearances. You're kind of in that part of the submarine community for almost as long as you want to be in it, or if you get in trouble and can't be in it anymore.
Thank you, Master Chief. And I just also want to say thank you to everybody who took their time out to actually explain their different IDCs that they are, because I'm definitely looking at becoming an IDC. So this was very helpful.
Awesome, good stuff. Before we take on another question, there was one that I did not hit. Chief Bova, I want to say that she covers LCSs. Chief Bova, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, welcome aboard, Chief Bova. So question, why did you decide to be an IDC, and what can you tell us about your experiences as an IDC with LCSs?
Okay, so I was a deck seaman, little E2, chip and paint, doing ropes, and we had a first class fall down from our aft VLS deck to Shaft Alley on a DDG, so it's pretty far distance. And I was actually on the at-sea fire party, which if you've ever been on a ship, you know that that's like the first responders pretty much to a fire. Well, we had to link up the pulley system and get him out of there, and that was our job in it. And as a deck seaman on the at-sea fire party, I really had to, get down there, stretcher bear, get him up, get him out. And it was at that point when I saw the IDC and what he had to do, because we had a first class, and I was at that point I was sold. I was like, I don't care what I have to do, I don't care where I have to go, I will be an IDC before I get out of the Navy. So that's what made me want to become an IDC.
Okay, and then what about being a IDC on the LCS? What is that like?
Oh, it's very interesting. So I took an LCS out of San Diego. So I was on the Trimaran, so the Tri-Hull. I hold the NEC for General Dynamics LCS variant Independence. And it is by far the most challenging and most rewarding tour I've ever done in my whole career, and I've been in 17 years. You are literally by yourself. You have no baby docs. You have 70 people that you take care of day in and day out. You are on medical watch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You got to keep your walkie-talkie handy. It does have a downfall. They are in 3 duty sections at all times. So a third of your tour on there, you will be on watch. You still stay on OD, topside rover. I voted to go the engineering route, and I am an engineering plant technician certified for an LCS. So I got to go in and play with engines and stuff like that, which was awesome. Of course, import underway, I don't stand a watch at all. if you really want to be independent and have people leave you alone, go to an LCS. Because I maybe heard from my physician supervisor once every 6 months, and I literally, my crew, they were my kids, and I say that in the most endearing way. I helped them with their careers. I was their mentor. I was who they went to when everything from their family life to their career was going right, wrong, and anywhere in between. You are the one. So the ship can get underway without the CO, without the XO. You know, they'll find people to replace them, and they can get underway without the CMC, but they cannot get underway without you. And that right there is pretty awesome to me, that you know, I have to be there at all point in time. And then also the fact that I was pretty much in with the triad. So anytime they had a triad meeting, I was there. Anytime that we had PV for T, any of those meetings, I was there. It does take a lot of time, and there are days you don't want to do it anymore, and you're like, oh, I'm so stressed. But at the end of the day, when you take a deep breath and you look at all the sailors you've helped career-wise, all the sailors you've helped medically, and you just look at your ship and you're out in the middle of the ocean and the closest land is down, it is the most gratifying feeling I have ever felt in my life.
Awesome, good stuff. Thank you so much for that, Chief Bova. Okay, so while we're waiting on any sailors have a question, I have a question for the IDCs here, and this is open forum. If someone speaks, just let them speak first. And Petty Officer Nally, if you have any more questions, you're more than welcome to ask as well. IDCs, I have some questions in regards to myths. I want to cover some myths about IDCs. The first myth or question that I have is, if I go IDC, I'm stuck in that role forever. I can't go be a PA or whatever. I'm stuck being an IDC. Talk to me about that.
You can still put your package whenever you want. I mean, honestly, depending on the tour, if you're NSW, you're high priority. I mean, some things may go to the left to the right, but you can still put in the PA package. Ain't no one stopping you but yourself, regardless of your NEC.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Just to add on to that too, as you go up, you can still be a command master chief somewhere and still be, you know, a senior leader, because, you know, when you are like the subject matter expert of that rate, and you do have a lot of experience to take care of sailors. So you're not always just going to be doing IDC things. You're still a sailor and you're still a leader.
And that's definitely not true, because at my command alone, we have nurse practitioners, we have PAs, we have plenty of people in high-level positions that have been IDCs before. It's just like playing a chess game, not checkers. Like definitely getting out there, you know, cutting your teeth and getting a good reputation, taking care of your sailors. But it's all up to you. So many IDCs I know have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, all those different things. And a lot of them go on to be PAs, you know, many different things. So it's all up to you.
I would have to say that, you know, now that after I did an LCS, I took an ISIC billet at an LCS run. I have 26 IDCs underneath me that I mentor and train. So it's more of giving back more than the patient care IDC aspect of it. It's being a chief and a leader. So you're never stuck just being an IDC. You're never just an IDC, because in a lot of places, they don't look at the IDC as just a clinician. You are the leader. You are the one they look to when they have nowhere else to look.
Look, y'all are waiting for this open floor forum. Y'all are itching. Don't worry, I got a couple more questions for you.
Can I add something real quick, Chief?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So when it comes to IDCs trying to go into other billets, I guess you could say, trying to go PA or what have you, you're still being an IDC. You're in a very critical role. So just because it doesn't happen one time, because you still have to get approval from the community manager to leave the community and drop your NEC essentially. Just because it doesn't happen the first time doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. Be relentless with your goals. Be persistent. You can keep applying. chances are eventually it's going to go through. So.
All right, good point. So HM3 Phillips wrote a question down, guys. I'm gonna read it for you. He said, or she, I'm sorry, I'm not sure of your gender, but HM3 Phillips said, if long-term aspirations are to seek a medical career, such as a PA or MD, would you recommend going to IDC school for experience, or just go ahead and get out and pursue those careers? HM3 Phillips.
All right, I'll jump on this again as well, because this is something that I was actually contemplating as well. The reason that I would say try and pursue it within the Navy is not only do you have the job security in the Navy, all the benefits and all that stuff that will weigh on you when you get out, being a civilian and then going to school and all that stuff. In the Navy, from a pay aspect as a PA, and your capabilities seem to be much higher in the Navy as far as where you can go, what you can do. When you go on to do specialties and stuff like that as a PA, it's paid for instead of you having to go out of pocket to do these trainings and all that stuff. So I think that at least in my eyes, staying in and trying to go the PA route would be my choice personally. And IDC is a great stepping stone because it gives you an insight into what being a provider is going to be like. You're not straight medicine as an IDC, but you're still a provider at the end of the day. So it's a great test to see if that's really a lifestyle that you want to live. Not to mention all the credits that you get. It knocks out so much of the prereqs for school. So it's definitely a great option for those looking to go PA or higher.
Can I add in on that too? Are you guys hearing me? Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I think also if your goal is to be a PA, that's also dependent on, how many college credits do you have already? If you've knocked out a bunch, as a junior sailor and you're just a handful, I'd highly recommend, review that MSc IPP instruction and see what the requirements are. Because if you're that close, I would just focus on that package, knocking out those few classes. Because if you're trying to use IDC as a stepping stone, I mean, you got to go to school for, almost 13 months, and then you got to serve in the fleet, right, and do your time there. And I'm not gonna lie, being an IDC, you were busy, so you can't guarantee that you're gonna have that opportunity to knock out those classes as fast as you want, according to your personal goals and how fast you want to get there. So definitely take a look at your personal situation. If you've got family, definitely get them involved and see what's best for them. And definitely get like a well-rounded big picture. That'd be what I would have to say on top of that as well.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I got one. So I agree. I don't think that I don't necessarily want to call it a stepping stone, but if you're looking for experience, if you're at an MTF or a hospital, I guarantee that you have IDCs there that if you work out with your chain of command, to just shadow and kind of be like a baby doc on shore duty, you can get the same exact experience through them while still being able to, go home every night and not take work home with you, because I know a lot of us that are on operational duty take work home with us. And I'm not talking about bringing notes home to chart. It's, the phone calls in the middle of the night, the laying in your bed, staring at the ceiling thinking, man, I really hope that I did right by that person. And if you're looking at it for the credits, assuming you already have college, are you just going to double up on credits through, what IDC school is going to give you on top of it? I feel like it's going to hinder you than help you, because you're going to take that time, whether it be 13 to 16 months, depending on what school you go to. That's going to set you back because you're not going to be able to go to school then. And then I know plenty of IDCs that are current PAs in PA school Like I said in the beginning, one of my first IDCs, he's a supply corps officer with Naval Expeditionary Warfare somewhere in Little Creek, Virginia. So there's definitely routes that you can take that you don't need this to do. I would say if you want to go to IDC school, you want to go to IDC school because you want to be an IDC, not use that as being able to skip over to get to, you know, something further down the road.
Awesome. Those are all great answers. Hey, great question there, HM3 Phillips. If you have more, please ask. All right, I have another myth. IDCs, open question, open forum. So, and these myths that I'm getting, these are when I see people, you know, make a post about IDCs, I see what junior sailors are typing. So I'm bringing that here. If I go be an IDC, I'm always gone. Like I'm never going to be home. I'm always gone. And my life is just going to be miserable because I'm always gone. I'm never home.
Okay. Yes and no. Okay, so yes, we have to deploy. Yes, we have to go fulfill our mission, whichever platform that we are at. But there's also going to be downtime. Now, going through IDC school, you will develop that time management skill, hands down. I can assure you. If you don't have that time management piece down pat, then you're going to fail. And that's just the reality of it. Everyone's going to do 6, 7, 8 month deployments. And then at the end of the day, everyone has to come back. There's going to be leave involved. You have to plan this accordingly. Make sure your time is planned out accordingly. And at the end of the day, our job is to do the country's mission. We will deploy. The corpsman community as a whole, you are going to deploy. As the forum pointed out yesterday, if you were on the Zoom call yesterday, you will deploy if you're even at the hospital. This is the reality of the situation. This is what's going on in the current political climate. There are things that has to be done and we got to go do it. And that's what we signed up for. If you become an IDC, you will deploy in whichever platform that it is, whether it be ship, whether it be the subs, whether it be expeditionary, whether it be the LCSs, whether it be the dive community, Recon, you will definitely deploy. Now, whichever one you choose, that's totally up to you.
Awesome. Anybody else? Everybody's like, yeah, he's pretty much right. That's it.
Yeah, I deployed back to back to back. So it is definitely, you are gone a lot, but I have a 12-year-old daughter and I still get plenty of time with her. I'm on shore duty now and I'm in an ISIC position, so I don't go underway. The only time I would leave is if one of our IDCs goes on limb due and I need to cover a ship till we can get somebody else there. So, I mean, you do have an opportunity on shore duty to get some classes done and spend some time with your family, but it just depends where you are. You know, a lot of times at the hospital, they will deploy you out of the hospital, but, you know, there's a balance. It's just you got to make the balance.
Awesome. All right.
You're going to know because of the fact that they can't leave without you. So you're going to know. So just plan it all accordingly. And don't be that guy that doesn't take leave, wind up with 80 leave days on the books and be sitting there hurting when it's time to go somewhere. Use that accordingly and make sure you maximize time management as best you possibly can. As Chief Boba said, that balance is extremely important or you're going to burn out. And that's what we don't want.
Awesome. I got one last question for y'all. And this will be it. So we'll cover our 2-hour mark. This is the longest one that I've done. All right, this is a good one. I hope you're ready for this. Some of y'all might not be able to answer this, but I know Master Chief can and the Chiefs can. So I'm HM2 Macaulay. I'm gonna go IDC. I want to go IDC. I'm gonna graduate IDC school, and I'm gonna automatically get first classes. I'm gonna study my butt off and get, you know, whatever I need to do to get first class. And I'm gonna make chief because I'm an IDC. I'm guaranteed to make chief. That's what I've been told. Talk to me.
That is a lie.
Big time lie.
Absolute lie.
Very
Lies.
much so.
All All right, one IDC at a time.
All right, I'm gonna go first, and then I gotta get off here. All right, so I'm gonna break this down as best as I can. I'm at 1st Marine Division, okay, and that's Blue Diamonds where I basically got it from. IDC can't be an LPO, so to speak, right? Because the IDC has to focus on clinic, and the LPO has to focus on the people administrative side, and then there's the preventive medicine piece, and that IDC can't be an LPO piece. It's everywhere, even at the hospital, right? In order for these sailors, the junior corpsmen, to get trained, they're going to rely on the IDC. Okay, that's just the reality. It depends on what's in your block 43. What's in there? What are you doing for yourself? What are you doing for your sailors? What are you doing for the command? What are you doing? Are you leading, or are you just sitting there typing up notes, doing your basic sit call? Are you making sure these guys are doing what they're supposed to do? Are you involved in CDBs? Are you involved in the command and Sailor 360? Are you out front taking charge? Are you trying to replace your chief? That's the question of the day. If you're sitting there only seeing patients, doing your normal, whatever it is, 740 to 1600 job, that's cool, that's great. But that's not gonna get you to the level that you're trying to get to. You gotta lead sailors. And at the end of the day, as an IDC, that's actually easy. It's laid out for you. You just have to put yourself in position to do so. And clearly, some of us in this chat has figured it out because we put on.
All right, next.
I would like to say, this is HMC Boba again. That's not true at all. I've always had a thing that I say, and if you take care of your sailors will take care of you. So I've always worked for my junior sailors. I don't work for myself. I work for my crew. I work for everybody but myself, because at the end of the day, if I put my blood, sweat, and tears into everything, it will be returned to me. And it did. I did pick up chief, and it was the greatest moment in my life, because, you know, going from an E6 to a chief is just, it's mind-boggling and an adjustment and a splendid miracle all at the same time, because we all know how hard it is to become a chief as a corpsman. But it's about the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it. You know, that block 43, if it's written right, you know, it speaks to the board, and you have to speak to the board.
So I'm not up there with the khakis yet. I'm still HM1, up first time this upcoming January. But like Chief Bova said, when you work for your juniors, then they will in turn work for you. And that was how I made my first class. I gave back everything when I was at Balboa and on the Mercy, and everything I taught those junior corpsmen taught me stuff, which in turn taught my chiefs, taught my senior chiefs. When I made first, we had 2 pickup senior and a couple more pickup chiefs, and it's a give and take. So yeah, that's a lie.
And I know Master Chief McDavid is waiting to get on.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Senior Gomez. You got it.
Hey, I just look. I hear what everybody's saying, and I'll tell you, especially like at our schoolhouse at the Surface Warfare Medical Institute, we are top heavy with chiefs and senior chiefs here. We just made 4 senior chiefs and 2 master chiefs here at the command. All right. For the NECs as a whole across IDCs, right? Just for Master Chief, we had 66.7% this year were IDCs. Last year it was like 60. For Senior Chief, it was 40% this year. When you look at how big our rating is, 40% taken up by all IDCs is huge. Okay, and when you go back and look at the Chiefs, I wish I had that number for you guys today. We were just talking about it when the results came out. But IDCs as a whole, even for chief level, take up a large chunk of promotions. So you may not see it. It may seem scattered out, but when you have the largest rate in the Navy, it's going to seem that way. Okay. So opportunities are plenty. You got to put in the work. Chief Maddox and Chief Boa, both great points. What you do for your sailors, what you do for your command, biggest speaking points to the board. Do that. Take care of your people and you'll be okay.
Wow. All right, and we'll end with Master Chief McDevitt on that one.
So I think that you might get a little one up, but if all you're doing is being an IDC and relying on your NEC to promote you, you're gonna fail. If you don't know what the HM ladder is, just Google it, HMLADR, and it will literally spell out everything that you need on there. And the only time that it calls out IDC is like at this point in your career, you're kind of eligible for it, so list off the side. It doesn't say anything about special consideration should be given to IDCs or nothing like that. I know plenty of IDCs who have retired as first classes. And that's not saying anything negative. There is great honor in doing 20 years in the military and retiring at whatever rank you retire as. But if you're banking on, I need to make chief, so I'm going to go to IDC school, I think that you're going to be sadly mistaken. So.
Absolutely. Wow. Let me tell you, you all have nailed it today. And for all the sailors out there, I just want you all to know, this was not scripted. Nothing that happened today was briefed or written down or anything. This is nowhere even official. This was all straight from them and their authenticity showed today, them being genuine. You could tell that they are fulfilled in their duties. And I will admit at one point as HM3, I kept saying HM3 Macaulay because I actually really was considering going to IDC school. The only reason why I turned it down was because I'll admit to you guys, my love for patient care fell out. And as you all have mentioned here, you don't want to go be an IDC if you don't have the love for patient care. That is your number one job. And then everything else comes with it. So, but I admire each and every one of you. You all have inspired me today. And I hope that this will inspire the junior sailors that are kind of on the fence of what they want to do. And not only them, but even you guys, like your community. For the ones that are probably burnt out, are probably thinking, are looking for the way out because they're tired. Maybe you guys have, rejuvenated those in your community that are tired as well. So again, I want to tell you all, thank you for everything. For the sailors that came on board, thank you. Did you guys have any other questions for any of the IDCs out of here, including the swimming staff? Pit House and Nally or anybody? Did you guys have any more questions?
Chief, I had one more question. HM2 Nally here. So when I was looking at the contract for sub IDC, there was some stuff on there that I had spoke to a chief about, and he was saying some stuff that wasn't on the contract. So my question for everybody, is there things that are not on a contract that you need to have? Like I was told that you need to have a letter of recommendation from IDC, a letter of recommendation from a doctor, but that isn't specifically stated on a contract.
Well, I will say I haven't been a career counselor for a while. It's been about 3 years, but I will say the last time I saw the contract, it was in there that if you're going to IDC school, you have to shadow and you do have to get that letter of recommendation from an IDC. Now, I haven't looked at it, like I said, in a few years. So I'm not sure if that's changed. I don't know if anybody else here has done a package recently, but I know that was there when I used to submit people to the school.
You're required to have a letter of recommendation from an IDC and a letter of recommendation from your CMC.
There you go.
Thank you.
Easy day.
Y'all better ask away. This is probably the last time you're going to get every single platform imaginable that an IDC can do. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we appreciate Chief Macaulay for putting this on. This is big.
Well, I'll tell you what I will do, because I know you guys have to get back to your destinations. What I will do is, for all the IDCs on here, what I will do is, if you don't mind, I will get your emails, your professional emails, and for any sailors that do have questions, I will post your emails to the video, and that way, if they have a question in regards to your platform or whatever the case might be, they can send you a question directly, if that's okay with you. If you don't want that to happen, that's fine. Just don't give me your email. But if you're okay with that, I'll post your emails so these sailors can reach out to you. But with that being said, I don't want to hold you guys any longer. I want to say thank you again. Thank you to everybody for showing up today. And that's all I really got. You all have a blessed evening. Salute.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.